Part of it is trusting yourself to know, I need to call somebody. I need to talk to somebody. I've hit my wall of what I know and I need help.
Yeah, it's so true. Having that permission for yourself and trusting yourself, especially because oftentimes we're on our own. We are having to have that conversation with me, myself, and I.
Yes.
24/7. As entrepreneurs, we walk in that fear, in that scared moment here and there. There's a lot of good moments and the reason why we chose this path, but it's also a lot of uncertainty moments. And I'm not just talking about revenue wise. I'm talking about second guessing ourselves and wondering, is this the right path? Should we narrow things down? Often referred to as niching. We feel that resistance and we're like, no, we got to help everybody. You have to give yourself permission to ask for help and understand that you do need to do something beyond your referrals. Those can still work for you, but you have to find other ways that are going to help you share your expertise and stand out publicly, because you're known privately and we need to get you more public so that you can continue to attract the right leads.
Here at the Joy Experiment, women create success that feels as good inside as it looks on the outside. Through real conversations, stories, and practical embodiment, you'll reconnect with your values, your energy, and your peace. The Joy Experiment is where success and soul finally meet. Join us weekly for this and more. Welcome to the Joy Experiment podcast, where I have with me today my friend, Ed Troxell. Hi, Ed.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. I'm excited to be here.
Cool. Ed is a strategic marketing advisor for service professionals. And I know what that means. What does that mean to the population?
Yes. So basically that's typically I'm working with 6 and 7 figure coaches and consultants, but because of the work that I do, it's industry agnostic, really. I help everyone from a solopreneur to mom and pop shops to anybody with their smaller teams, typically up to 5. So I always just say service professionals because that's majority of the clients that I work with these days.
Okay, great. So we have both been through a lot of transition since I first met you, which may be like 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah. We met on a networking event, like mixer thing. So it's important to do good networking, right?
Yes. That's the cool thing. So jumping in on that conversation real quick is that it's so important for not only networking, but staying connected to the right people that you meet at these networking events, right? Because in entrepreneurship, we hear it all the time. Like, you got to network, you got to have a good, we both have come from the real estate side. So sphere of influence, I'm saying that wrong, but you know what I'm saying. And so yes, it's so important for us to leverage the time that we're spending in these networking events to find the people, which are typically not our clients, but they're connectors to our potential clients. And so we not only show up at these events, but we also should be making sure that we're following up with those people that we connect with and have a good vibe, which is why we have stayed connected and are good friends for the last, we'll just call it 5 years, which is crazy.
It is crazy. So I love watching, I hesitate to say grow, but that's probably pretty much what it is. There's nothing wrong with saying that, I don't guess. I've grown a lot since we met. So when I first met you, I was doing a podcast with a friend, and then I started doing a lot of marketing because I was in mortgage sales and I was marketing for realtors, and you were kind of doing the same thing. And then both of us have kind of changed our businesses, a lot. So I would love to hear about, how do I want to phrase this, especially considering what you do for people. You help them step out of one structure of marketing that they're used to and expand it out, right? And so for you, was there parts of letting your business expand and change that were scary to you, or that you were hesitant, or that you resisted?
Yes, I laugh because yes. I think that as entrepreneurs, we walk in that fear, in that scared moment here and there, right? There's a lot of good moments and the reason why we chose this path, but it's also a lot of uncertainty moments. And I'm not just talking about revenue wise. I'm talking about second guessing ourselves and wondering, is this the right path? Should we narrow things down, often referred to as niching? We feel that resistance and we're like, no, we got to help everybody. We can't do this. And there's a lot of those moments. And so what do you do when you face those moments? And more importantly, what do you do by yourself? Because that's usually where it starts. So the most important thing is you got to give yourself permission to ask for help. Ideally ask for help sooner rather than later. A lot of the clients that I work with who are successful at what they do, they are experts. They know their topic. The challenge for them is that they built their business on referrals. Referrals are great. We love referrals. It's still the number one form of marketing. However, we've noticed over the last year that referrals are starting to dry up. We've tapped into our network many times. We have started to not expand our marketing efforts for various reasons. Some don't know how. Some are okay with being comfortable where they're at. They got busy. They stopped marketing, whatever it is. So you have to give yourself permission to ask for help and understand that you do need to do something beyond your referrals. Those can still work for you, but you have to find other ways that are going to help you share your expertise and stand out publicly, because you're known privately and we need to get you more public so that you can continue to attract the right leads and have the right conversations. And that's going to tie into what are you known for? And that niching down. Yes, there's going to be resistance. I have faced it too. We all do. But it's so important for us to have the right guide to help bring us through that journey so that we are not only niching down, because there's so many different ways to talk about that, but more importantly, getting the right theme for our business, getting the right messaging. Because once you do that, the doors start to open up. So it's really going, I was telling this to a client this past week, it's really going from wide, which is where we want to help everyone, to narrow. So you get really clear on things, because that's going to help you in all aspects of your business. And then magically it widens up again, but to the point where you have more qualified, right people that you're talking to, not just void.
You're looking for quality over volume.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
So I would pull you back one step further, and also your client in that permission statement. For me, it was permission to trust myself.
Woo. Yes.
Like, okay, I've been saying I want to do that. This is what I do, and this is what I do. And then I changed a little bit, and then I changed a little bit, and now I don't want to do any of it. And like, am I being a brat? Like, do I just need to suck it up? Like, do I need to get over myself? Or is this really me saying, hey, you did all this learning and marketing and sales and around your topic for a reason, and now it's time for you to move on, either broaden or step to the side or just do something else entirely, which is kind of what I'm doing compared to what I was doing, right? I'm helping people build businesses and enjoy and ease and flow, which has to do with your marketing. But even just to say, okay, this is the truth of what I want to do. This is really where I want to be, and be okay. Like, give myself permission to just trust it. Even when the advice I was getting was stick with what you know, stick with what you know, stick with what you know. I think there's two things there. Part of it is trusting yourself to know, I need to call somebody. I need to talk to somebody. I've hit my wall of what I know, and I need help. I know what I want. I just don't know how to get there, or I need to offload this. So just the intuition to know, okay, I need to trust myself. It's okay. I can ignore some advice that I've been given. And then the intuition or the permission also to know that, hey, it's time for me to find the right person to help me direct this ship, whichever way I want it to go.
Yeah, it's so true. Having that permission for yourself and trusting yourself, especially because oftentimes we're on our own. We're having to have that conversation with me, myself, and I.
Yes.
24/7. So
or with my husband, who is, worked for the same company for 32 years. He's like, I don't know what you're doing.
Right. Right. Exactly. Right. And that's the thing. And it's funny you mentioned this about permission to trust yourself. I just was thinking this morning when I was getting ready, man, it's been a while since I've listened to podcasts because I like to listen to podcasts and I like to keep up on all these different things. But I'm in this season right now where I'm really trying to cut out all the noise and stay focused on what I'm doing and how I'm doing it and building certain things for the long term. So I've been really intentional about where I'm putting my focus.
Okay.
And part of me was like, but I miss the podcast. I want to listen to what people are talking about. And it's that consumption mode, which is what we're all used to. And that is what also will help and also deter us from doing things that we should be doing. So to tie into what you were talking about again, trusting yourself, understanding that there's a time and place for you to learn, and then there's a time and place for you to implement. And we're in that implement stage and making sure that it's you that's coming through, not all the noise.
Right. Or you can get really tied up in it. And I also used to use it as a deferment when I was unsure of myself. I'm like, well, I'm not sure I want to do this. I must need to get this book, or I need to take this course, or I need to take a book and a course and hire a coach and talk to all my friends. Right. Maybe it's a girl thing. I don't know.
No, it's the cycle.
Right? There are times where it's like, and it's funny. I've been cleaning out my office. It's January. I've got my podcast setup done. I've been cleaning out my office and just donated a pile of books, probably this high, of good books, of books that I like. But I'm like, you know what? This was for a season in my life that I'm not in anymore. And so I'm out. Or, there's people that newsletter I used to listen to, their podcasts that I used to listen to. And I don't think when I was listening to it, I was glad and I needed it because I was so unsure of myself. But the more sure of myself I become, and I don't mean that in I know better than everybody way, but more of, I know that this is the methodology that I like. I know that this is what I really want to learn. I know that this is what brings me energy in a high way. I don't fight over here. And so these things are just not for me. They're for, maybe they're just for the person who wrote the book. I don't know, but you know what I'm saying?
They got you to the next step.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it's really about. It's about getting to that next step. There was a quote that hit me this week, and I'm going to pull it up on my phone, that I was listening to an interview from somebody, and they said this Albert Einstein quote, and it was like, what? Because, there's those moments. I'll read the quote and then I'll mention it. So the quote from Albert Einstein is, "It's not that I'm so smart. It's just that I stay with problems longer." I'll read it again. "It's not that I'm so smart. It's just that I stay with problems longer." That's going to mean something different to everyone, depending on the place that they're in when they hear that. But to me, that one hit because sometimes in entrepreneurship, it feels like we are behind. We're trying to catch up. We're trying to be the next XYZ. We're trying to make the X amount of dollars, whatever it might be. But when I hear that quote, I'm like, it's okay to focus on one thing, in his example, the light bulb, and the problem, and sticking with that, even if it's not bringing you immediate gratification. Translate that to today's, you have a business, you have an offer, you're trying to sell it, you don't make a sale today. You post on social media, hoping to get a sale, nothing happens for a week, a month, 6 months, whatever it may be. Sit with the problem long enough, things become super clear. Is this going to work? Who are you targeting? What's the message? How are you going to market this? What is your focus going to be? How are the clients getting the results? How are you going to use that content for your marketing and to continue to flow from there? So anyway, I might have went on a tangent, but
no, it's interesting. I've been thinking a lot about urgency, which is funny because I grew up in the mortgage business. So there may be
that one.
Maybe things that are more urgent. I don't know what they are. I'm sure there are, but that urgency was ever present. And we just thought that you had to have it. And there were people that I was around that took themselves out of that. Not very many.
Yes.
Most of us just went for it. Like we were addicted to it.
Right.
But the people who took themselves out of it and said, listen, this is the way I want my life to look. And this urgency that has been placed on me is fake. Now, are there closing dates or there things that need to happen? Sure. nobody dies. We're not in the ER, right? We're not driving an ambulance here, right? So you do things like you keep your word, of course. You play within the rules that are set in whatever industry or whatever you're coaching or whatever. You keep your integrity. It's like a lot of the books that I was reading. I'm like, I got to learn this because if I learn this, it won't be 6 months to get a sale. I'll get a sale tomorrow. It says here right in the bottom of the book, tomorrow. So here I am. Got to do the things. Got to do them now. It is nothing but a fake urgency, fake lack. And it creates this constancy where you can't think about your problem in a way that's solution oriented. Like your quote, you stay with that. I think, what did he say? He tested out 1,000 things that didn't work with a light bulb, right?
Right.
But you're just going through, and you're letting all this data speak to you. And I understand that we need to have income flowing and business needs to work and all these things. I get it. But for the most part, for the things that we're really trying to solution, which is this the way I want to live my life? Is this the way I want to experience my life? Is this profitable for me in the way that I want it to be? Am I being effective here? Am I using my gifts, right? Like that's one thing I know you're really good at helping people with, pulling out the hard so they can use their gifts and feel good about what they're doing. These are the problems that take a little bit of thought. Sometimes they answer like that, but that false urgency of this must be settled now. And if it can't, we often just throw it. I'll speak for myself, just push it to the side and find another problem, or find another person to talk to, or find another book to read or another course to take. When in actuality, sitting with myself, then you start to feel those things like, okay, my intuition is right. I want to make this change. I want to call Ed, or I want to maybe take this course, or maybe take no courses, or stay off podcasts for 6 months, or shut my social media consumption off, whatever it is that's saying to you, if you can't hear yourself think for all the information you're taking in, it's no better than sitting on Facebook or TV all day.
That's so true. So true. And that's the thing. We have to balance that out as much as possible. It's hard because we are in charge of our own schedules and we can do whatever we want because we're adults, right? But that's where we have the best opportunities to put in those boundaries and to remember that it does take time. And I actually am loving the conversations I'm seeing on social these days, more particularly on Threads by Instagram, because people are tired of the urgency. They're tired of the coaches that are out there claiming, they made 10K today or, 50K this month or whatever it might be. It gives them the ick, which is great because that helps the rest of us who are out here actually doing the work, right? Like, there's different scenarios happening and people have different businesses. But the point being is that it's nice to see that so many people are wanting the real, slow, steady, and longevity of entrepreneurship. And they are realizing that it is not just, I'm going to take this course and make 10K today or tomorrow.
Right. I mean, if it does work, in my experience, when those things do work, it is so strenuous and you have put so much effort and you've gone so far outside of yourself that it works once and then you're done. Or you can make it go again 3 months later, or you can do it
burnout
6 months later, or
it's too much. And we also have to think, talking about this topic too, is like you said, trusting the process or trusting yourself. And then I'm saying trust the process, because there are times where things almost seem too easy and we complicate that, right? In general, we're humans, we complicate that. But there are times where I am in a season where I am learning how to enjoy more of my free time, which is, I don't know how to explain it, but it's one of those things where I have been so used to doing, going, and that was my productivity. That was like, hey, we're ahead of the game and everything. And, you're spanning that throughout the day. But these days, I'm doing that more effectively in shorter amount of time and being okay with having an hour during the day to go for a walk or go to coffee if I want, maybe 4 hours during the day on certain days. Like it is very weird in some ways, but very cool in others. And I say this because it's something that we don't get taught. We get taught always like you have to be working all the time in order to be successful. you can still work, be successful, and enjoy the life that you actually want. And that goes back to your point where making out your day, what does that look like? And if you're in a season where you can't achieve that quite yet, keyword being yet, that is okay. Some days you're going to be on 8-hour Zoom meetings, right? With clients, depending on how your schedule works. Whereas other days you might have one and be done for the whole day.
Yeah.
And still make the money and whatnot. So just understand that there's flexibility.
Well, it's interesting you bring it up because a lot of what I talk about, I just published a book called Open for Business. And one of the big things you talk about is being open and available for the business that you want, but also stepping outside of it, having to look a certain way, or that stress, that pressure that we put on ourselves. A lot of times it's just a habit. We think we have to do it. Like the most successful people, if you look at it, and we're always shoved at outliers, right? And what is good for someone else. I'll never forget listening to Gary Vee say, do not work like me. I know I work too much. It's all I do. It's all I really like to do. It's my hobby, but you guys really need to work hard. I'm like, dude, which is it, right? But then you see somebody like Warren Buffett. He reads most of the day, or other people who are just like, I think we're pushed like in a lot of the books and a lot of the podcasts and a lot of things that everything needs to be some sort of outlier to be successful. You know, the middle is just some sort of murky, you know, what did you really do with your life, Ed, if you don't have 1 million followers and everybody doesn't know who you are? Like you're an insta loser when it's actually, you know what? The majority of life that's good is lived in the quiet where nobody knows but you and maybe a partner or friend or your dog or nature or, you know, a handful of people you go have coffee with. It's not lived under the lights or the likes, whatever, like the best parts of our lives, like when you're really connecting with a client and you're really able to help them become visible and understand that everything's going to be okay. And this is going to, you know, they can figure out their message and all these things. These are quiet moments. These aren't enormous, big, huge, you know, exhilarating. Now, I find it exhilarating when I help somebody, and I know you do too, but it's not the same as like, you know, what we're presented with constantly, which is this large, like everything's got to be so large and so crazy and so earth shattering. It's like, actually, it doesn't.
Less is more. Less is more. Right. That's for sure. And you start getting real comfortable with that once you find that to be true for yourself.
Yeah. I really like waking up in the morning in a calm state.
Yes. I will say, like, I have been blessed to have mornings to myself, meaning I don't typically do meetings before 10 or 11, that whether in person or online. I really just get to chill. Like I can wake up, maybe go to the gym, walk the dog, make breakfast, go to coffee, whatever it is, and work on some things for myself, and then start to jump into the day. So you got to find what works for you. That might not be for somebody else. Somebody else might be like, oh gosh, that sounds terrible. I want to jump right in the morning so I could be done in the afternoon and go play pickleball. Great. Like if that's your thing, go do that. Yeah. Find out what works for you and your schedule.
Definitely. I think one of the things that we get so hung up on is saying, and I noticed this when I was writing and also when I was talking to people about it, they would say, well, that's never going to work for the typical, you know, whatever, you know, what if you're a busy mom? What if you're this? I'm like, well, what about you and only you? Maybe you do have 4 kids. And so you have to, you know, the dog's got to go out at 5 and you've got to get, however your life works, make it work for you. And instead of saying, well, I read this book and they said you're supposed to do this, or my husband's never going to do that, or my partner's not going to do this, or my kids aren't going to do that, or my employees or whatever. It's like, it's not about any of that. Yeah. It starts with you.
I'll tell you, I don't wake up at 5 a.m. There's some people out there that are like, you got to wake up by 5 a.m. and go do X. Listen, I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. unless I'm going on a trip somewhere and it's going to be a real good trip, not just, you know, a business trip. It needs to be nice. So take what works for you, right? And I know like so many people, like you said, have such busy schedules and there are a lot of different people pulling at them, especially if you're a mom. And I get that. So The beauty of having a busy schedule like that is that, and this is an exercise that I usually go through with my clients, is you already have key time blocks that you know are non-negotiable.
Right.
That makes filling out your schedule and your ideal work day and work week so much easier, because you know you got to pick up the kids at 2. You know you got to drop them off at 8. You then know you got to go to XYZ, and maybe you want to go to Pilates. This is great, because then we put all that on the schedule, and then you see where the holes are.
Right.
And then you figure out what you can accomplish in that. The best example is if you got to wait in the school pickup line, which I know how terrible those lines can be. I have been in them before. That is a great time for checking your email.
Yeah.
Responding to the email,
Yeah.
right? Maybe commenting on a LinkedIn post. Like, there's certain things that you can plug into these pieces that will then start to chip away at your day, and you'll be able to feel a lot more freer.
I'm going to throw something crazy out there, Ed. That's also a great time to turn the freaking phone off and just sit.
And then there's that.
Be.
The opposite. Yes.
Right? For like 10 minutes.
Yes. I love that you brought that up.
Yeah. For the people who say, I don't have
important.
10 minutes to think about or meditate or put my feet on the floor and do breath work. If you're sitting in the car line, good time to do it, right?
Yes. Oh, I love that you bring that up. And so that's the beauty of what we're talking about today for everyone listening, is that you can either take what we said and do it, or do the opposite if that's what's required for you, right? It's
right.
Like, if you need that moment to yourself, great. Don't get in hustle mode. We are not talking about hustle mode. We are talking about showing up for yourself and then for others. It's like being in the airplane, putting the oxygen mask on yourself before you help others. Because if you pass out, you can't help them. So really take what you need here and run with it.
Yeah. Oh, so I'm going to ask you a question, Ed, that I actually sent to you beforehand. This seems like a great moment. So for you, what was your ease and flow moment in your life or your business? Either one.
There's probably been many, and I will say the one that's coming to mind right now is the most recent one, which would be getting super clear on messaging. Once you start getting clear on your messaging and your positioning in the marketplace, things just start to flow so much easier for you. You start to realize, no, I don't need to be paying attention to that. Oh, I like this. Oh, this is relevant. Oh, this is really going to be helpful for my clients. This is, you just start going down in a more intentional and focused rabbit hole. And it's nice because you're no longer thinking about the surface level stuff. You're going straight into that 6 feet deep dive and helping people who are down there. I don't know why I went with 6 feet, but we're talking about the ground. So there you go.
There you go. We don't want to go 8 feet under, right?
Yeah.
Or is it 6 feet under? I don't know.
Yeah, it's 6 feet under, but if you're going 8 feet under, well,
that's even worse.
I don't know if that's a pro or a con.
That's funny. So for you, I know, but okay. So when I met you, you were helping realtors and you were doing a lot of video with them, right? And so how did you transition out to the last time we talked? I think I was on your podcast. I can't remember, but you were doing a lot of strategy, which I understand because a lot of people doing part is actually the easiest part to handle. Because you can hire it out. You can have a lot of automation do it now. The doing part is actually the easiest part almost. And I think sometimes we get stuck in the doing part because we don't want to do the strategy part. That's intimidating because then you are asking yourself, what do I really want? How do I want to live in this? Does this sound like me or did I copy it from somebody and I don't like it? Like it can get a little too, like you're saying, granular or too deep down and it can get a little scary, but that's the good stuff, right? So how did you float around to where you are now?
Yeah. So I've always done strategy for myself and for those around me. But when I first jumped into the business back in 2015, I started with tech support, web design, and video marketing because I knew I had to market myself differently, right? And so that's where I started then teaching not only coaches, but getting into the real estate area and helping them with video marketing. Then it became super clear that so many don't have the strategic guide, the advisor role that I fill, where I come in as their partner basically to help support them through real-time challenges. So it's not just getting a fancy headline for your LinkedIn that's super clear and people understand. Like, that's the start of it. Mm-hmm. But it's, how do I want to respond to this potential client in an email? How do I want to phrase? Because there is a way to use your words in an email specifically to get a response. How do I use social media more effectively and be more consistent? That always comes up with clients. Mm-hmm. I want to be more consistent with that. Well, what does that look like for you? And what does that mean? And what goals do you have? There's so many holes for established businesses who have been doing very well, by the way, for themselves, just going with the flow. And still, some of these questions they can't answer. And that's what we unpack. And it's magic. It is magic when that happens. And so that's where, like you said, the doing is really easy. It's the strategy that's challenging for so many, because you need to have somebody to think for you mm-hmm. and help support your thinking. Mm-hmm. And yes, there's AI now, because I know some are like, oh, well, I'll just go to ChatGPT mm-hmm. and I'll get my strategy. Cool. Yeah, you can do that. And I definitely encourage you to do that. But here's the thing. You're going to soon realize that you still need a human guide to support you. I had a client actually do this recently who was looking through ChatGPT stuff. And I work with my clients with AI as mm-hmm, well. So mm-hmm. I help teach them how to better use this in their business. And they still wanted to meet with me after their AI reporting because they still didn't have what they felt they needed. And they also felt more confused than they did beforehand, right? Because AI will give you a lot of information. So you still need a human who knows what they're talking about and who's going to help support you and who's invested in your business growth. Not just there for a paycheck, but who's invested in your business growth and being able to celebrate your wins. That's one of my favorite things to do with clients is celebrate wins with them, but be able to use that and get that strategy for you and leverage the tools like AI to help you get there quicker.
I use AI quite a bit, but you really have to, it took me a minute to really understand, like, it's giving you these huge answers because it's going all over the place. It's what it does. Yeah. So you really kind of have to, okay, I want it to be in this kind of style or this kind of style, or I don't do these forms of marketing, or I do love these forms of marketing, or these are my values. Like, as much information as you can give it to kind of narrow it to you. I had a little LinkedIn debate the other day. Someone was saying that AI is going to start telling us everything it wants us to know, and we won't even know. And I'm like, what's confirmation bias? And we all look for confirmation bias anyway. We don't need AI. We're just going to speed it up, I suppose, right? Or find your favorite news station or favorite podcast, social media, or cousin to talk to, whoever, right? That it just confirms everything you want. But there are times that I use it specifically to confirm what I want. Like, I want to say this, and this. This is how I want to say it. I want to say it effectively, but also can you push back on me here? Can you help me adjust this? I don't use any of these words, like whatever, right? Like, I want my bias all over this, please. And then other times I go into it and say, I think I'm missing something. What am I missing? Right? Like,
well, that's the thing. AI, you can look at it almost exactly like how social media came about. There's no guide. There's just, here, do something with it. Ask questions. Same with Google, right? Like, we used to go to Google and just type in whatever came to mind and you'll get something. Great. And then it's up to you to actually filter through and also tap into your expertise. But if your expertise is not in, for example, marketing and strategy and figuring out how to use social media effectively, you can use chat all day long, get some cool things out of it, but still feel lost, overwhelmed, stressed out, and ineffective with your marketing.
Definitely.
It's just, that's what it is. So if you're feeling that way, you definitely need to reach out to somebody. I'm not saying that I'm going to be the best fit for you because, again, we have to meet, we have to connect, we have to go over things. I'm simply saying what we talked about at the beginning was trust yourself, like you said, trust yourself, and then give yourself permission to ask for help and figure out what resources are available to you so that you can make a good decision for the season of business that you're in and where you're wanting to go.
Excellent. So I'm going to switch gears on you a little bit. I'm pretty sure I just saw on Facebook that you wrote a book as well.
I did.
Not Facebook,
yes.
LinkedIn.
Yes.
Okay, so
We
I want
won't
to
talk
hear
about the Facebook. We'll talk about LinkedIn.
Right.
Yes. So
Got
I
my
did.
water.
This is a draft copy, but I have the official one coming in. But yes, it's called the Shit Entrepreneurs Experience.
I love it. So tell me all about this.
Yes, real strategies for real problems nobody else talks about. So I took this. This was not on my bingo card for 2025, but it came in at the last month and a half where I felt like I needed to write it. I was being led to write this. So I did. And it came out so good. It was just going to be a PDF and then ebook copy, which it is on my website. But then my friend was like, why don't you add it to Amazon? Like, well, okay. So I spent a Saturday and added it to Amazon. And so now it's available in the print edition. It won't have this line. This is just for me. But what this really is about is it's only like 60 pages long. So it's a super easy read. But really what I wanted to do with this was to share the moments that we all go through. Like you said earlier, the urgency part.
Right.
It's in here. By the
way,
there is no emergency. Putting ASAP in all caps or urgent in all caps in the subject line for something that is a simple upload, for example, or whatever it may be, is not urgent. It's only going to cause people anxiety. We are not doctors.
Right.
One of my favorites in here is the death of reply all. If you reply all, I am going to unsubscribe from whatever it is. Right. That is like every entrepreneur can relate to that. And so it's moments like that I put in here where how do we make it better? So we know that there's going to be a situation, reply all. How do we position ourselves from the start to make that better? So if you're sending, for example, the email, don't put everyone as CC'd. Leverage the BCC. I know we weren't taught that.
Right.
But leverage BCC unless somebody really needs to be in that conversation for the replies. Then put them in the CC.
Right.
I know I'm getting a little technical.
No,
but
it's okay. It's funny. What it points to me is the assumptions that we make or the things that we're taught that we're like, well, the mortgage business is urgent. This has to happen right now. Actually, it doesn't. Now, there are times that things get hairy and it needs to happen, right? I've been in this situation where somebody was in a moving van. And shit needed to happen. Let's go. Right. Yeah. But for the most part, urgencies are prevented early on with preparation, with communication. And I noticed as I got more mature and farther along in the mortgage business and met more people who are more mature in the mortgage business, the people who are really good and had longevity were like, we're cool as a cucumber over here.
Yes.
We communicate clearly. We set expectations. You meet them or you don't. You're going to lose business. I don't want that business. There's not enough business. There's more than enough business. Yes. And I would be like, what? You know, but my nervous system was so on fire. I couldn't have slowed down. You know, that's something I've been working on for the last year. It's like, it's come down, way come down from where it was. But even, I'll tell you my ease and flow moment, Ed. I was laying in bed and like it's a Monday morning. We live across the street from the beach. And I had shut down my marketing business. And I think I had one client left and I had another thing going, but I literally had nothing to do at all. And I woke up and I was just like, what do I have to do?
Yes.
What day is it? Who do I need to call? I forgot something. And I'm literally in bed like, holy cow. And like my inner me was like, you have nothing to do. And it took me almost a year, like you see my shoulders are up here, almost a year to wake up, like just to teach myself, wake up. I don't have to do, because you don't have to do anything. You have to do nothing. People always give me the pushback. I have to get my kids. I have to get the dog. I have to, you choose to do that. And we know you choose to do it because we know people who choose not to. Yeah. Is it the right thing to choose not to get your kids up and get them to school and all that? Probably not. It's still a choice though, right? Like everything we do is a choice. And so it took me that year and afterwards noticing just like how much my life changed when I was not in constant urgency. And it was all fake.
Right. Exactly. That's the thing. And that's the part, you know, we don't talk enough about those things. And that's why I was happy about this book. It was just a test run just to put out there and people are reading it and enjoy it. They're like, that's so relatable. And it's not just the moment, but it's the strategic planning that goes into it and giving those tips on how to change this. So that's all about teachable moments and being able to, again, what we talk about in marketing all the time, document what's happening. You don't have to go out and create all this new stuff. Document what's going on and use that in your marketing. And that's exactly what we have here. And in fact, talking about AI, this image was real. I was at a coffee shop, but I spilled the coffee and put all this stuff with AI because I just wanted something simple and chaotic as well.
Yeah, no, so I loved it. It caught my eye. I'm not on LinkedIn that much, but when I am, I usually see, because I comment on your stuff, I usually see something of yours, but it definitely caught my eye.
Yes.
So good for you. So, are you interested in writing more books? Or
yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. No, they're definitely, there's several drafts of different ones, but I think the next one is definitely going to be soon. I have it on my list of outlines and things, and it's really to focus around entrepreneurship, but more importantly, talking about the seasons that we go through, because we don't talk enough about that. Really, entrepreneurship is, we are athletes, but we don't talk about us being athletes, meaning there's a time for us to train and there's a time for us to be on the court playing the game, right? And we don't look at entrepreneurship the same way that we look at sports. And I think that there's a lot that we could learn from that and help us as entrepreneurs continue to build sustainable businesses and have realistic expectations, both for ourselves and for our clients. That's just going to make business as a whole that much stronger.
No, we're definitely stuck in that it has to be bigger. Did you scale?
Yeah.
If you did 1 today, you needed 2 tomorrow. Well, if you did 1 million last year, you need to do 1.5 million this year. Like, all is lost, as if solopreneurs or small businesses, entrepreneurs, service like you, like you deal with and help, we're not beholden to shareholders.
Right.
Right. Like, there's no CEO here that's going to crack down on you if your number, like, you're beholden to yourself and your family and your commitments. That's it. I think the seasons is so huge, and I'll take it out of sports. I've been doing a lot of work around feminine energetics of business because they're different than masculine energetics, and masculine energetics are great for men.
Yeah.
I mean, we have both in us. We all know that, right? But guys, obviously, most guys have more. Not all. Same with women, right? We kind of, whatever, not to get all tangled up in that. But the cycle for a woman is so much different. I mean, even just our energy cycle, our hormone cycle is 28 days, etc. And then you layer on the daily energy cycle. And then you layer on, even if you look at nature, like, I told one of my clients, she was having a really hard time with the cycles in her business. She's like, you keep saying this can be easy, and these cycles seem so hard. I'm like, okay, when's the last time you got really mad at a tree for losing its leaves in the winter? You don't. It's nature. The tree does its thing in the winter. It rebuilds. It concentrates its energy down. It gets ready for spring. These are the seasons. And I love that you brought that up, because we beat ourselves up that like we're running Facebook, stock.
Right.
And like, no, we're not. You don't need to be in that focus. Not that I'm saying you shouldn't progress or whatever. I don't think either of us are saying that. But that constant pressure it has to be more. Every day has to be more. It has to be more. It has to. No, it doesn't.
Exactly. And that's the thing, we have to, and it's nice because I'm starting to see that a lot more online too, with people talking about, like the launches, the open cart, closed cart, yes, there's a time and place for those things, but more and more people are realizing like that is a stressful time. And yes, you may make a lot of money, but at the same time, you also might be burning through a lot of that money too. From the tech to the people helping
to the ad spend, the whole 9 yards. Yeah. But it's also like,
interesting.
I just signed up for a program with a lady, and I've known her for a while, so it was an easy sell for me to sign up for her thing. But at the bottom, she's like, this is not urgent. You will not die if you don't sign up for this. There will be another one if you can't make it this time, or if it's not right for you. It's okay. Go in peace. And her program is full, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. You appreciated that.
Absolutely.
And you remembered that.
Yes.
And that goes back to understanding what you want your clients to feel. I even have in my email signature a little blurb about you do not need to respond right away. Like within 24 to 48 hours, is fine. Like if this is not urgent, don't worry about it, because I don't want people to feel like they need to immediately respond.
Yeah. That constant pressure that we put on ourselves.
Yes. Yeah. And people notice and they realize that, and they're like, oh, breath of fresh air. And then they want to sign up.
Yes.
In your example, right? You're like, add me to the list. And also what's nice about that, since we talk about marketing, just to point that out, that leads to, and I'm going to give a short snippet of this, but consistently selling, right? So I get this a lot where clients are like, oh, things are slow in the business, so let's market. And then things pick up and then they're like, oh, I'm going to stop marketing. And then they wait till things die again. So it's this stop and go.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Keep marketing even when you're busy. So that's a great example of this is full. I'm going to say that it was full. Guess what? There's a next one. Sign up here.
Yeah.
So she's still consistently marketing her offer, and she's still signing people into that offer. And it doesn't matter if she's full or not, because she gets them onto some kind of list.
Now, I will put some energetics on that, right? Because we were taught that in mortgage sales, like keep marketing, don't stop because you're busy. But we had so much pressure put on us, and we put so much pressure on ourselves, right? Because it was always, how much did you sell? How quickly did it close? How much money did you make? I was always so stressed out. And I noticed a lot of people around me were so stressed out that marketing was a burden. It was a chore. Yeah. It was like, you want me to get more of something that I can't sleep at night over? Like I didn't say it out loud. Nobody did, right? We were all like, of course we want more sales. I want to be the next $2 million loan officer. And inside my body would be like, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's an extreme example, right? But if we're talking about the lady that I'm doing the program with, her name is Megan Macedo. It's a flow for her. And so it's easy to just send out an email a week or 3. I have another friend who puts 3 TikToks on TikTok a day, but she loves it. That's just what she does.
See.
Right?
Yep.
It's not a burden for her. She's putting out some other things that we've been talking about. She's like, this is starting to feel like I'm constant marketing. I'm like, okay, now you're feeling your boundary. That's your body and your inner being going, I've had enough. You don't need to do that. What are we doing? That feeling of stress is there for a reason. It's not for you to get over yourself. Now, if everything you do is a cause of stress, then we need to figure things out, right? But we're talking about mature adults here. So if they're thinking about strategy with marketing, someone helping them, and it feels like a burden, there's something else going on there that needs to be unspooled. So you can get to where it's fun. Marketing's fun if you like what you're doing. If it's not a lot of pressure, like how many sales did I get more than I got last time? Of course, you want it to be effective. I'm not pie in the sky here, but you know what I'm saying. Like you take that extreme urgency of like I need a $100,000 launch. I need whatever it is that we just press on ourselves so hard to, hey, come if you want to come. Don't if you don't. I got 20 spots.
Yes.
There'll be 20 more in 6 weeks, 6 months,
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just makes things so much easier when you are whatever in a good way, right? Like
in a good way. Yeah.
A strategic way. We'll say that.
A strategic way. Exactly.
Yes.
Right. And if you're just playing, just play. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're, you're running the business, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. And one last note on that one too, for the marketing piece, is that find what works for you. Like you said, she's enjoying 3 times a day on TikTok. Great. And if she continues to do that when she's super busy, even better. Mm-hmm. For those listening, you might be like, I don't even use TikTok. Right. Is that something I should be on? Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah. Not if you don't use it.
Find what works for you. Exactly.
Yeah.
And find what works for you. For example, Threads right now is blowing up. It's just conversations. It's just text. Yes, you can put in videos and photos, but most people are just having conversations.
Interesting.
And it's a light lift. Oh yeah, you got to check it out over there. It's like amazing.
It sounds like the old Facebook. Remember when Facebook was just like talking? And I'm off Facebook. Like if I could delete my account I have too many photos on there. Literally, I would delete my account.
Yes. Yeah.
Which as a former marketer, like marketers all over the world just passed out. Like, it's crazy.
Well, it is one of those places that many of my clients don't want to be on as well. There's many different reasons, but yes, I get that. And so that's why I want people to know it's not just Facebook and Instagram. We talked about LinkedIn for a second. So many people are like, LinkedIn, really? I haven't logged into that for like 20 years because I haven't had to look for a job. Well, guess what? Log in, update your profile at the very least. If you can comment and post, great.
Yeah.
But if not, update your profile.
Yeah.
I've had a client who did that. They did not post very often on there. They got a client because of search.
Yeah.
They had the right headline, the right bio. It matched what the person was looking for and they got hired, right?
Right.
So my tips would be to look at Threads, update your LinkedIn, and check out Substack without getting too crazy into the Substack world, just to put that out there. Because again, it's writing. It's very heavy on the writing piece. And so for so many experts, so many established business owners, you can knock out a piece of writing in 15 minutes, right? Whether it's just you or you're using AI. You can knock that out and you can put it onto something that's public, even if it's your blog. Blogs are great. Some of you might not have that or you don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
Well, I like Substack for that because people who like blogs and like reading go to Substack and search.
Right. Exactly.
They're not going to search your blog on the interwebs anymore. It's at 2002. It's over. But like a Substack or Medium, and I like Substack better than Medium these days as well.
Substack is having its moment right now. So it is very, very much like when Instagram came out in that example for jump on the bandwagon, see what you can get over there and see what you can do with it. I have a Substack over there for the referral ceiling. And I talk about these different marketing opportunities that you can do in your business. And the reason I like Substack in this example is because it makes repurposing my content so much easier.
Okay.
Because when I publish something, it gives me graphics to share on other platforms like Instagram or LinkedIn. So I'm using it strategically. I don't care if I have subscribers over there. Obviously, it would be nice if I did. I don't care though. My whole point is that I'm putting out specific content on this platform to see what kind of traction it gets, but more importantly, get repurposed material that I can share on other platforms.
Right. No, that's good. It's good. I like a share where I don't feel pressure. In some places I do, in some places I don't. And I tell you what, I do not feel pressure on LinkedIn. I don't care about the likes and whatever. I mean, I know some people are really hot and heavy on LinkedIn. That's their jam, whatever. But that's one of the reasons I started posting there a little bit again. It's like, this is just easy. I already wrote this. I already filmed this. I already put this out. It's just easy.
Exactly. Yeah. Go with where it feels comfortable and also where your ideal clients are, right?
Definitely.
Thinking about that. And LinkedIn is a perfect example of where your people are going to be paying attention to.
Definitely. Well, Ed, it's been so nice to see you.
Yes.
Congratulations on your book. That's so awesome.
Thank you.
We were both put books on KDP. Yeah. Mine is called Open for Business. You can find both of our books in the show notes. Ed, where can they find you? Obviously, you're on LinkedIn.
Yep. And if you just go to my website, edtroxell.com, you'll see my name on the screen here or in the show notes, edtroxell.com. You can go over there, connect with me. There's even a quiz that you can take to see where you're at, what stage you're at when it comes to what I talk about, which is the referral ceiling. So that you can see if you're depending too much on referrals, what do you need to do next? Where do you need to go? So it's a free quiz.
Fabulous. I do love a Cosmo quiz.
Yes.
Remember those?
Yes, those were so popular.
Yes. All right. Thank you again. And I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. Take care.